Hi, I'm Matt. I'm the VP of Product and Engineering here at TopLeft, and I'm going to record a quick video here for you explaining the new UI in TopLeft. We've been working on it a long time, and it's a lot better than the old UI. Mainly, we did it to make it faster and prettier, and to establish a lot better patterns inside the software to make things easier to work on, so we can build more. So let's jump right in. So this is the view of the old dashboard. To enable the new UI for your own account, click on your name up here in the corner, click Account, click New UI down here near the bottom, and then save it. And then immediately you see the new UI in just about all the views here in the app. The list of boards that you already have is here. Now, if you visit one of your older boards, it still shows up in the old UI, at least for the time being. So what you're going to want to do is make a new view. View is the new term for board, essentially, except there's additional visualizations, not just boards. So click Create View. You'll see that if you're an administrator or a manager in TopLeft. Then you choose what type of record you want to see on the board. Tickets is the most common. And here I get the form for setting up a new view. There's two tabs. There's the view, general options about the view, and then the workflow tab, which defines the columns that you see on the board. So I'll give it a name. I'll just let's call it Help Desk. I won't show you all of the fields here, just the most important ones. An important one is the default group that defines, like in terms of the old UI, we call them swim lanes. It's essentially the same here, this grouping option. But the important part is that it's only the default option. You can, your users can override this choice when they look at the Kanban board or other visualizations. So the reason for that is that in the old UI, sometimes people wanted essentially the same view of the data, but with 4 or 5 different swim lanes. So they had to make 4 or 5 different boards to get at that. But now you don't have to do that because your users can choose their own swim lane choice here. So this is just the default. I'll leave it on company. The card fields will list what are the details that actually appear on the card on the Kanban board. Conditional formatting here would be the choice for which profile, which format for the conditional formatting, which can highlight cards according to your own rules. There's a ConnectWise boards option. So this is where I'd choose what's the ConnectWise board that I want to take these tickets from. You can choose multiple ones. Autotask and Halo obviously would have different options, or sometimes no option here. So one of the biggest improvements here for setting up a view in the new UI is our query builder. So it's a proper query builder with Boolean logic, ands and nots and grouping and whatnot. So I won't go into details here, but just to give an example of how you might set up, say, on this view, you only want to see tickets that are in the top 2 priorities, so to see the most urgent things. And I would choose priority as the field, and I would choose in, which kind of selects from multiple of your choices. And I can select the priority choices here. Maybe I just want priority 1 and 2. And that's all I have to do. I also here see a preview of the tickets that are matching my filter here, as well as the number that are matched. So it can give you a bit of a clue as to what you've done without actually having to go back to the board to see it. Here you can choose the team that this is associated with. So this is relates to the teams that you would see up here under this option. You can define teams within TopLeft, so you can choose one here. If you do that, then you can say filter to the team members. And that is pretty useful to only show tickets that are assigned to people on your team, possibly also unassigned records if you have this checked. So that can make things a lot simpler if you only want to see tickets that are assigned to certain people. Finally, one improvement over the old UI is the member association field. You have some choices here because different companies and even different teams have different ways to assign people to tickets. So like using ConnectWise terms, ConnectWise tickets have an owner, and they also have 0 or more assigned people. And some teams say we assign people or multiple people to a ticket. Other people say, no, we set the owner as, we use the owner field on that. And so if you were to do that, you would want to say the ticket owner is the key thing here. This affects some of the other features like how we filter to team members and how things show up depending on the licensing and whatnot. Okay, so this is everything I need to do for the view as a whole. Now I'll go to the workflow tab where I'll set up the columns. So here I see a list of statuses that I can assign to the columns or stages. I'll make a few stages here. Just a typical, pretty basic setup where we do new and then in progress and then a couple of waiting statuses. I'll just call it waiting here. And then completed. So it's about the most basic setup that you can get. There are a variety of options here. I won't, including things about the work in progress. I won't go into those here. And then I'll click save. Okay, then we see the Kanban board view of this. Notice that I had chosen the company grouping. So it's showing us these tickets grouped by company. But if I want to change that, I can choose any other choice here. I can say I want to see it by member to see who's got the most tickets or who's got the least tickets or what are the unassigned tickets. So I can see that all here. You can drag cards between swim lanes. In this case, I would reassign it to somebody else. You can drag them between columns. That would change the status of the ticket. And I can click on it to get an editor. So I can change quite a bit of the fields about the ticket. I can make time entries. I can dispatch people. I can see the file attachments and configurations that are available on that ticket. And up here, more options than in the old UI. I can type in some text that I want to see, and it will do kind of a free text search for those over those tickets. And I can also click the Mine button here if I just want to see my tickets. And in this case, I'm also seeing unassigned tickets, but I only see tickets assigned to Peter, who's the user that I'm using right now. You can get to different visualizations if you click here. So I can see a dashboard of some charts, some kind of summary information and reports about the history of what the work that's going on here. And I can click Gantt to see a Gantt view of that. It's not so typical to use that for help desk, although it does work. It would be more typical to use this for a project view where it'd be quite useful. So that is a summary of the new UI. Thanks for watching. You can always email help@topleft.team if you need help or clarification on any of this. There's also details in our knowledge base at help.topleft.team.